There's Tony. Hello, Tim.
What's going on?
Welcome, Coach Laird.
What's up, Jason?
How are you?
Tony T, what's up, dude?
Who's there? Hey, Coach, what's going on?
What's happening? Tim, what's happening?
What's going on, Brad?
Good to see you guys.
Coach, we going to start on time this fall?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Is that what you're hearing?
I have no clue. To be honest with you. Optimistically saying yes.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, who's there?
Haley.
Well, hello, Haley. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Enjoying the beautiful day?
Are you standing? Can I see you?
Nope, because I can't get my camera to work.
Come on, Coach Mike.
Can't get my camera to work.
Now, come on, Coach Mike. You had your awesome background the other day.
Yeah, I know, but
I
that
don't
was
even know
on
how to
WebEx.
do.
On WebEx, for some reason, for Zoom stuff, I can't get my camera to work. You know, I did put a background on y'all, though.
I know. You were looking all angelic.
Yeah.
Wow, you know that wasn't true.
My wife said, you know, that's not true.
Come on.
Bad thing is she said that in front of my mother, and my mother agreed with it.
Oh, no.
I was laughing at it, too.
Hey, Cindy.
Hey, Haley.
What's up, Cindy? How are you?
I'm good, Brad. How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
Jimmy Watson, you doing well? All I can see is your name. I didn't see your picture.
Yeah, I can't figure out how to do my face either. I'm in the same boat with Mike. I believe
That's
it.
because we played RA basketball at the same time.
We did.
At the
We
bottom
did.
left, it should have a
And believe it or not, he
start
used to
and
whoop
stop
up on me.
video.
Yep, that's right.
Okay. Upper left of the screen.
Bottom left.
Try to reset your phone. Fix the iPhone black screen.
Can I borrow your phone?
Good, what you? I'm trying to get an answer to you.
Well, there's the guest of honor.
Hey,
Hello, hello.
They might be able to hear you. You might not be able to hear me.
hey, Anna.
Hi.
That was
Trying
Mr.
to
Pierce.
wait.
There's
talking.
Mr. Burke.
Mhm. You want to be at the San Francisco?
There we go, Jimmy. Got it.
Finally figured it out.
Mhm. Not on there now. So, Brad, but I didn't see. See if there's. It's not good. There's this Jimmy Watts. Okay. Well, see if they see anything on yours.
Haley, I didn't see Patch's name on the invitation list.
Well, now that I've unmuted myself, you can hear them barking at the UPS man.
Well, look at you, man. Eat those? Here, I'll leave them for you. Still got 3 left? I'm gonna put them in for you really fun.
What's up, Megan?
Hey, y'all doing?
Tim Owens, I saw you on there somewhere.
I'm here.
Hey, I'm gonna make everybody mad when I say this, but OH.
I
You have the power
Brownie,
to
our
get
brownies
people
are
on
becoming
here.
Pew's gonna mute both of us in a minute, Tim.
Look, you and
Hey,
I
I do like how the Browns are LSU North and the Saints
Yeah.
are Ohio State South. It's crazy.
right.
Right. Getting people filtering in here. Give it a couple more minutes and we'll let the Buckeye State take the floor.
Just to butt in, did everybody else's screen get really small or am I the only one?
Mine has not changed size. Keep adding.
Jason, I just want to double check. You're recording this on your end, correct? And you're going to send it out?
It is recording, and the hope is once it gets done, we will post it on our YouTube. That way people will have access to it. Probably be better than to try to send it out in a massive email or WeTransfer. If that works for you guys, I mean, y'all tell me the better way to handle this.
Yep. That works fine, just as long as I have access to it, because I'm not at the office yet and I don't have my gear. I'm at the house.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean it is recording, and I'll figure out where this thing goes, and we'll get it up online here ASAP afterward.
Sounds good.
All right, I've got 105 right now, and I think we've pretty much got just about everybody in. certainly from a work standpoint, that will be using this for professional use, using it for professional use. You can tell I don't have a script, but we do have an agenda we will start with, and leading things off as we get ready to welcome our new head women's basketball coach, Anna Nimz, to Natchitoches and meet with some of the local media, some of our supporters. We will start things off. Our director of athletics, who was just recently singing the praises of the state of Ohio, as he always does, Mr. Greg Burke.
Thank you, Jason, and welcome and good afternoon, everybody, and especially welcome and thank you to the members of the media who have joined us. We've all been through a lot of firsts in the last 6 to 8 weeks, and this is another. Anytime we hire a head coach at Northwestern State, just like anywhere else, you normally have an on-site press conference, and that won't work right now, but during times like this, you have to adjust. I actually sat in on a WebEx last week where Gary Reasons, who was a two-time Super Bowl champion, played football for the Demons, spoke to our coaches, and he talked about those programs that are going to survive all of this are programs that can pivot in the marketplace. So that's what we're doing today. We are pivoting in the marketplace and making the most of an opportunity to introduce to you all our new head women's basketball coach. I'll go back to April 3rd real quickly when we put a press release out. Ideally not the way you like to go about a search, but obviously for good reasons. We had a head coach who after a couple of weeks decided to step aside. And if you look back at that release, the comment that I made was the fact that we still had a very good applicant pool. I would be remiss if I didn't right away acknowledge the committee. They had to dig back in along with me and get the search restarted. And we had some really good semifinalists, and Anna was amongst that group, and candidly was a smidge away from probably getting an on-campus interview to start with. And so we went right back to that group, and that brings us to today after having gone through the process and Anna having having accepted the position as our head women's basketball coach. Quickly, and then I'll turn it over to Anna, some of the things that we saw in Anna. First of all, just her level of energy, and we heard it from more. I don't think they coordinated this, but more than one of her references talked about her infectious personality, and I think that's always very important in a coach. I know that on the very first WebEx that we did with Anna, she said if she was going to be successful as our head coach, if she got the opportunity, she would have to engage everybody from the president to the custodian and everybody in between. And I think that definitely is going to be something that you guys are going to see. I remember her asking me, where does she need to go to have coffee or eat breakfast so she can get to meet people? And her mentor, who I'm going to acknowledge in a minute, Lane Lord, who was a coach she worked with at Pittsburgh State and then at UT Rio Grande Valley, his quote to me was, Anna's going to make somebody feel important every day. And I think that speaks a lot about her personality and her persona as well. She's big on communication, and I can tell you that already. It's been a little bit different to onboard a head coach once again, who's remote and can't get here quite yet, but her communication skills and responsiveness, which is a big deal with Greg Burke, people that respond, she's been fantastic. And she's going to communicate with her players. One phrase that stuck out from her interview the second time around was a quiet gym is a losing gym. So student athletes, if you're tuning in, I know you probably have already heard this, but she's going to be a great communicator. She has, once again, I want to mention Lane Lord, is a guy who I actually connected with 4 years ago. And we were looking for a coach at that time when he was highly successful at Pittsburgh State, and we just developed a connection. And who would have thought 4 years later, one of his proteges, one of the people who he thinks so highly of, would be our next head women's basketball coach. And has got tremendous work ethic. And anybody who's been in our department, and we've got several people on this call from our department, knows that you got to work hard. I know that Larry Tidwell, who just retired as the associate head coach at Kansas, said the first time he met Anna, he went to Kilgore College to recruit, and she was on her hands and knees scraping glue off the floor so that she could put down new carpet in the locker room for her student athletes. And another story that I heard was she was actually on a ladder wiping down the glass backboard because it was dirty, and one of her players made the comment to her, well, coach, that's not really your job. And her response to her players, which I think is a great role model, was the minute I start thinking things aren't my job, that's when I'm not going to get better as a coach and as a person. She's had success as a player and as a coach. She set records as a 2-year player at Pittsburgh State. She and one of her new assistants, Mike Brown, I know she'll talk about them, but they took Kilgore College, which had been at one point a perennial national power, but had kind of slipped. And it's located in one of the top 3 JUCO college divisions in the country, regions in the country. And she took the same team she inherited and went from 7 wins to 16 her first year. Then the next 2 years, they won 21 games. Both those years came within 1 game of going to the national tournament. And a story I got from her AD at Kilgore was a story of how upset she was when she lost that second championship game and how he had to remind her of how far she had come. I don't like to think about the idea of a coach being upset, but I like the idea that winning is what they want to do and losing hurts. I think losing has to hurt. That's what drives you. And then lastly, but obviously most important, she's going to be fantastic for our student athletes. On the interview that she did with 3 of our student athletes, the way it's supposed to start out is, well, hey, tell us a little bit about yourself. And when they asked Anna to do that, she said, okay, I'll do that quickly because you asked me to. I want to know about you. I want to hear all about you, what's important to you. And she talked about developing trust, how just as much as she has to hold the players accountable, that the players, she wants them to hold her accountable as well. Academics, which is a big deal at Northwestern State with our 82% graduation rate. Anna's second and third years at Kilgore, her AD said not 1, not 2, but her entire team at Kilgore were academic All-Americans. I think that's the focus that we want. I'll close by saying that Lane Lord made the comment talking about her players. He said they'll believe in her. I can tell everybody today that I believe in Anna Means, and I'm among a growing group very quickly at NSU who are feeling the very same way. She quite simply put is a leader. You'll sense that very, very quickly, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce to everyone the new Lady Demon head women's basketball coach, Anna Nimz. Anna?
Hi, thank you, everybody. Unprecedented times right now, and all I can say is thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be on here with you all. Although I can't see every single one of you, I know that you're there. A big thank you to Dr. Maggio, the president of NSU, Greg Burke, athletic director at NSU, Mr. Pierce, VP of External Affairs, everybody on the hiring committee. They bleed purple, and that has been incredibly evident to me in the last couple weeks. And Brian Stanchek with the BDS agency. Thank you. I look forward to this opportunity. I also want to mention how thankful I am for the tremendous support that I've received from the NSU community, the women's basketball alum, and those in town. I've received letters, I've received phone calls, I've received emails, as if I was already on campus and we already all knew each other personally. It has been an amazing couple weeks, and my family has definitely grown just in the short period I have been with NSU. In addition to the NSU family, I'd be remiss if I did not mention my own family. With every step and every decision I've made, I've had amazing support and guidance. I feel their love and their support with every single thing I do. And without them, I wouldn't be the coach I am today. It's 100% because of my family that I understand how important it is in creating a family atmosphere full of love and support. How my parents and my brothers impacted me and how I was raised is exactly how I want to continue to grow young women, help empower them, and really pour into them more than just basketball, but how to continue to grow to be a young lady, a young woman, and to have success within their life. I've really always been fortunate to be around people that believed in me and got on board or believed in what I believed in. Aaron Keel, he's the athletic director at Labette Community College, gave me my start in college coaching. He took a chance on me at a very young age and provided me the opportunity to be the head coach at Labette Community College. This really allowed me to develop my philosophy, and trust me, I learned a lot by trial and error, and a lot of error I will attest to. So with that, Jimmy Reeves, the athletic director at Kilgore College, helped reinforce my philosophy. He gave me the opportunity to be at Kilgore College. He believed that kids always come first. their academics, their personal growth, and also, you know, basketball. That is what we're here for. But it's always important to think about player first and not player as an athlete, but player as a person. It's his support that helped us turn around the program and find success, but within a positive belief system. You know, I've been incredibly blessed to also work alongside Coach Lane Lord at the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley for the past 2 years. It was this opportunity with Coach Lord that I continued to grow in my knowledge of the game, understand what it takes to win at the four-year level, you know, and it really reinforced just how important relationships are. If you know one thing about Lane Lord, he has a list of 1 million friends, 1 million people that he's helped. He really lends himself to anyone and everyone. And once you're a part of his family tree, he continues to go above and beyond and provide opportunities. So without him also, you know, I wouldn't be sitting here today getting to have this conversation without you and everything that he's provided. You know, I think it's important to surround yourself with people smarter than you or people that bring something different to the table. I'm really excited about the staff that we have coming in. You know, we're going to have 3 different people. We're going to have hopefully a former player as a graduate assistant, but everybody brings a different level of experience. We have Coach Elshai. She was a head coach 7 years, Jacksonville College, coached a handful of All-Americans as players that have gone overseas and played. She actually sent 2 players on to NSU back when Brooke and Scott Storr were at the helm. One of those young ladies is currently overseas in Israel. She knows what it takes to recruit the kind of players that will help us have success. You know, and on top of that, she has a lot of different skill sets, very different than mine. I'm going to be a more in-your-face, loud, get up and after it, and she's going to be a great asset to have to be on the sidelines, communicating with the young ladies, helping them to understand exactly what we're trying to get across. Mike Brown, he is the epitome of a gym rat. He does not know when to shut it down. And for a coach, for me, that's exciting to have. He's willing to do anything and everything to make a program have success. And he was an integral part of that success at Kilgore College. Probably one of the most loyal people I know. And it was without a doubt that when I accepted this position that he would be somebody that I would be reaching out to right away. I think loyalty is number one, and I want it, you know, within our entire program from the coaching staff into the to player relationships. And our final assistant that will be joining us is a Louisiana native. And so I'm excited to bring him in. He has ties to Southern recruiting. He's very closely related into Louisiana and Mississippi. He has Division I experience. He's been in the high school system for quite some time, but he just brings something very different to the table. But I'm excited to have somebody that is from Louisiana on staff, because I genuinely believe that that'll help us develop relationships maybe a little quicker, and really pour into the community and allow us to kind of get our foot in the door with the great coaches, you know, in Louisiana and Mississippi. It's my goal for NSU women's basketball to cultivate an atmosphere that focuses on relationships, preparation, really embracing the process and having a positive belief system, but not just within our program, but really within each other. We've really hit the ground running. We have 2 early commitments. I say early and that it's been 2 weeks. But we have 2 commitments to pair with the 9 returners and 2 early signees. We're continuing to try to bring in the best young athletes, best young student athletes, excuse me, and people that we believe are really going to embrace what it means to be a demon there at NSU. So I'm beyond excited to join NSU as the new head women's basketball coach. And so I just want to take this opportunity to answer any questions that anybody may have.
Coach Daniel Brown from KTBS in Shreveport. The challenges of starting a new job, obviously with the pandemic going on at the same time. So far, you've been excited to hit the ground running. But what do you anticipate being the biggest challenge, say, a month from now, when there isn't that certainty that you will be able to be on campus, being in your home office?
I think the biggest obstacle, and I want to say that is anytime you can create it, there's an obstacle, I think there's other ways of looking at it. So instead of an obstacle, maybe an advantage, because it's going to help us grow one way or the other. But to answer that question, I think the biggest thing we're going to face is our lack of face time together. We need to implement a new offense and a new defense and a new philosophy. So not being able to be on campus, maybe not being able to be face-to-face either with my staff or with the young ladies, I think that's going to create a different avenue of learning. So although it could be an obstacle, I'd like to see it more as an advantage for all of us to grow. No different than every single one of us has figured out how to grow in our profession, and doing everything from home. So, but when you're trying to build something and really establish your philosophy and what you want for the program, doing it through the computer is a little bit tougher.
And Tim Owens with Channel 6 in Shreveport. What can we expect to see on the court from an Nimz coach team? I mean, what are the traits that you're really going to push for this team to be going forward?
We're going to work hard. I think, when talking to the players, we talk about our offensive and defensive philosophy. Our offensive philosophy is we're going to try to create 2 extra possessions. We get 2 to year 1. We want to play quick. We want to play a handful of players. That's fun for the fans to watch. When you can create a very active up and down court. Defensively, I think defensively, I've always been very much so geared towards defense as a coach, probably 60-40 as far as practice goes. That may have to change a little bit with implementing a new system. But I really believe that we want to keep the offense off balance. The 50-50 balls, the doing the little things. We're going to grind. Something that our teams have always been known for is their conditioning. We weren't always the best team on the court, but we could go so hard that it made a lasting impression. And I think that people can get behind that. I think, we want to really limit the gaps of some losses. I think you got to do that in time. But if we're holding teams to 65 and there's only 3 teams in the conference that average above that, we're going to be able to put ourselves in a situation to win. And so that's what we're going to be known for. We're going to do the little things. We're going to be the team that works extra hard.
Anna, Jimmy Watson here at Shreveport Times. You mentioned 9 returnees. How do the girls that you have coming back and the 2 early signees physically fit into the philosophy that you like to use?
What's exciting about the young ladies that are coming in and the young ladies we already have is our style of offense is very much so geared towards downhill action, meaning we're going to have quick first steps. We're going to try to get to the rim. We'd like to score around the rim and really outside the 3-point line. I think our young ladies have an uncanny ability to get a first step on somebody. And, so I think that's where we're going to be able to move into our offense maybe a little bit easier. I think teaching them the spacing and the timing of the offense will be our biggest feat. But on the flip side, we have the people that it takes to have success within the dribble motion. So it's exciting that thankfully our offensive philosophy pairs well with the young ladies that we already have within the program.
Thank you.
Coach Daniel again from KTBS. You've had a history of being able to turn programs around. It's part of the reason why you have this job now. What do you think is your biggest selling point to get these players to embrace your philosophy and the buy-in factor to get them to convince themselves that they can go out there on the court and put together some wins and provide some positive outlook towards the students on campus?
Greg alluded to it when he opened up, but one of my biggest objectives is to get to know the players and let them understand who I am as a coach and as a person. When asked what's your coaching philosophy or your style, I am very much so a tough love coach. I'm going to push you. We're going to raise the bar. We're going to hold you accountable. And I think in order to do those three things, those young ladies first have to trust me, and they have to know where it's coming from. So right now, everything is about cultivating that relationship, building their trust. And I think when players genuinely know that their coach has their back and where the coaching's coming from, they kind of drop that guard sometimes, and they are more so able to allow you to coach them a little bit tougher than maybe from maybe previously. I think it's important that they know who I am. I'm a loud person, whether I'm trying to be quiet or just talking normal. I'm naturally loud. I'm naturally excited. I'm naturally animated. I kind of go, 100 miles an hour all day until I get home. It's who I am. And that doesn't change because I'm coaching or because I'm walking across campus to go get a snack. I do everything with a purpose. Sometimes the girls make fun of that, because I'm always going a million miles a minute. But when they know that that's me, then they know that I love them. I think what's going to allow us to have some success and maybe pull away a couple games that maybe we had lost in prior years. I think it's going to be that trust and love and development of that's going to allow us to push them a little bit more than maybe what they have in the past.
Hey, Coach, it's Tony Tagliavore, your radio guy in Shreveport. Good to see you. My question for you is, I'm sure that when you were offered the job, you called and asked around and got people's thoughts on the university and the program. What are some of the positive feedback that you got as regards to, yes, that's a place you can win, so on and so forth?
Well, I think the biggest thing is if you go back through NSU basketball history, it has a great tradition. And so it's evident that you can win there. I think the biggest selling point to NSU is truthfully the family atmosphere, the fan base, the community. I haven't met somebody that didn't know somebody or wasn't related to somebody that worked at NSU. I think that you are able to have a Division I program, but in a smaller setting, and that allows for more family involvement. That allows for more. You're more than a number. You're important. And so, when asking around, I heard amazing things about Greg Burke as an athletic director. I've had more than one person say that you're not going to find another AD that really pours into his athletics, and not only for wins, but he shows love and support, to the coaches, but to the players. It's evident that he's back and forth constantly, championship games, regular season games. And anytime you can have that type of support from your superior, I think it only provides you the opportunity to then grow your program based off the support from up above. I think it's pretty impressive. If you go through the three gentlemen that I mentioned at the beginning, Dr. Maggio, Mr. Pierce, and Greg Burke, I'm not sure how many years collectively they have all been at NSU, but it's quite a few. And so I think that speaks volumes about, the kind of program, the kind of university that it is. When we talk about family, it starts at the top, and it rings true throughout the entire university and through the community.
Coach Megan Glover with KLX in Alexandria. I'm looking at the press release, and I see that you've already talked to some ladies, and you've just asked them what were their goals, and of course they all mentioned the Southland Conference tournament. What kind of confidence did it give you that their eyes are set already on postseason for the next season?
I think it's exciting that that's where they want to be. I also think it's exciting, and we really quickly reset goals. It's always important to have your top goal, but it's easy to set a goal, but it's all the steps underneath it of how we're going to get there. And so through communication with the girls and how excited they are, they want to make that tournament, and they didn't stop there. They want to be somebody in the tournament, and we have a lot of hard work. So we talked about, it's one thing to want it. It's another thing to want to work for it. And I think that was something that was really impressive to me, is their willingness and quick buy-in to do the hard work, to adjust maybe a mindset of being worried about me coming in, and more so embracing the idea that altogether we can do something special. They had incredible answers, and I've been really fortunate with the feedback back and forth through my little questionnaires that I send them, just really trying to get to know them and, you know, and kind of know them on a more personal level.
Anybody else have any questions for Coach Nimz?
Yes, Coach, just going into your bio a little bit more, Pittsburgh State in Kansas. Are you from Kansas originally, and do you have a favorite professional football team from Kansas, Kansas City Chiefs? Are you kind of following the draft at all?
Yes, I am from Kansas, and yes, I am a Kansas City Chiefs fan. That was also actually something about NSU going through everything. I believe is it Josh Delaney that would play for the Chiefs that also was a part of NSU. So that was exciting to me as well. But yes, I am from Kansas. I'm actually from Topeka. I was born and raised there, lived there, and then moved on to Pittsburgh State and lived in East Kansas for a while, Southeast Kansas, and then continued. Have I watched the draft? No. Truthfully, I feel like I've been on the phone with either in meetings, talking to recruits, or on the phone with other coaches. So haven't had the opportunity to necessarily sit down and watch much, but I have watched The Last Dance.
Coach, was there anybody you relied on in this process? It's been a very unique one in terms of not being here and still working with the student athletes you'll have. Who did you rely on to kind of set your schedule and figure out how to get through this?
One thing or one person that I can say, and now I hate to say one person because everybody has been unbelievable throughout the process, yourself included. But one of Greg Burke's strength and knowing him just for this short time is communication. He has not one time been unavailable. He has helped me to know where I need to go to get certain things. He's put me in contact with the right people. You know, I'm still communicating with him on Saturday evenings when it's time for him to go eat his dinner with his family. His ability to communicate has allowed me the opportunity to move through this process as smoothly as possible and doing everything from afar. So I think as far as that goes, you know, absolutely Greg Burke, you know, has really just made things as good for me as I could have imagined.
Speaking of Director Burke, he mentioned that you asked about what coffee shops that you would want to go to meet certain people. What foods are you looking forward to trying once you get to Natchitoches as well? I'm pretty sure you've heard a pretty good reputation about the city and its cuisine.
Yes, so I'm really excited, obviously, or not obviously, but where I live right now, there's an endless supply of authentic Mexican food. And there's tons of different opportunities to have it, and it's really good. So I have a funny feeling I'll be going back to Tex-Mex style of that food, but the Cajun cuisine is something that I'm interested in. I will say I have never actually peeled a crawfish myself. I enjoy eating them, but I do not enjoy touching them. So I think it's gonna take me a minute to maybe embrace that. I like etouffee, I like gumbo, but as far as crawfish, I haven't gotten on board with really getting into those yet. And I will never suck the head, do whatever. I will never do that. That's too much for me. But I will embrace the culture 100%. And I have heard amazing things about the downtown, all the food establishments downtown. So I've also heard that I should really watch watch what I eat, because somebody on campus said that when they accepted a position there, they had gained 10 to 15 pounds within just the first month or two. So I'm going to try to avoid that too.
We just had our university president, Dr. Maggio, join in. Doc, you got any questions for your new women's basketball coach?
I don't have any questions, but I would just like to say again, Coach, it was certainly great virtually a couple of weeks ago, and just to let you know how excited we are to have you on board. I mean, it's already obvious what you've already done, albeit from afar. We can tell that the impact that you're going to have on our community and on our university, and more importantly, on our student athletes. So thank you so much again, and look forward to you leading our program. And I know that there's some great things in store for Lady Demon basketball.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Burke, I think you have something to add.
Yeah, I just reflected back on my opening statement, and I think, Anna, that I referred to you one time as Anna Means instead of Anna Nimz. And you're probably wondering, where in the heck does that come from? Well, Anna Means is from Mansfield, Louisiana, about 30 minutes north of us, and played for NSU. I know that Cindy Davis, who's on our call, she's a member of our Health and Human Performance faculty, and Anna actually owns, you Shreveport media people, if you ever need a little PT, she owns Edge Physical Therapy up there. And somehow Anna Nimz, it's already going to be bad enough because we have Anna Job in our department, who's our co-head soccer coach. Now we got another Anna, and I'm reflecting back to Anna Means. And so I guess I thought told Jason, I texted, I said, I need to explain that so everybody understood where this Anna Means comes from. She's now Anna Moore, by the way, and Anna Nimz, she'd be a good one to get to know up in Shreveport for sure. Fantastic person.
Awesome. Absolutely. We'll do it.
Anybody have anything else for Coach Nimz or Mr. Burke or Dr. Maggio? All right. Well, we want to thank you for joining us, for the coverage you give Northwestern State. Thank you to our fellow head coaches. I know one thing that Coach Nimz touched on and Mr. Burke always talks about is family. We appreciate the members of our Demon family being here to virtually support Coach Nimz from about 700 miles away, however many miles between the Mexican border and Natchitoches there are. Once again, thank you very much. We are recording this. Tim, I know you asked, say a prayer that we can get this to YouTube and get this to you guys safely and quickly. But thank you again for joining us. I know some of us have to get to a 2 o'clock WebEx. Mr. Burke, that would be you. I understand that. Thank you again for joining us. And Coach, we certainly look forward to a chance to get you here on campus and let you meet some of these people in person.
Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Coach.
Bye.
Thanks,
Anna.
everyone.
Welcome back.
Bye.
Fork 'em Demons.
Thanks, Coach.
Good. Pretty good.